Ta-da! I'm going to work. Hopefully we don't have the same streaming issues we did the other night. I'm the Pitbull of Pilates, working out here at home. And tonight we're going to be doing a lot of bodyweight work with the push-up device that I made. People spend a lot of money on these. Sometimes a cheap amount of money, but I made mine for about $100 from Home Depot. And what I like about mine is that they're about 10 pounds each. So there are other things that I can use them for. But tonight, we're just going to be kind of hanging out, doing a full body workout. No weight, except maybe using some of these as a counterbalance. But now, there is no set way that you have to set up your push-up device. Personally, and this is just from my gymnastics background, I can use it fingertip to elbow width, and generally, as long as this won't slide on me, that gives you enough space to kind of get down nice and low if you want to, or as you'll see some other things that we do later, some kind of dips and stuff. So if you don't have push-up device at home and you want to try to do this workout on your own, or follow along with it, you can use chairs. Chairs are a good way to help set this up and get it moving. For some of these exercises, I'll be using these little glide pads to slide back and forth. And if you don't have glide pads, just a smaller end towel should work just fine as well. But I'm going to go ahead and tie my pants. I forgot to do that over there. And we're just going to jump right into this because no one's home right now. And they will be at some point. People will be coming back from drum lessons. So we'll just get this started, and hopefully it won't get too crazy in here with them. It might, you never know. It's always fun when the kids join. Alright, now dips, a little different here. I mean, this isn't a really far distance to go. So if you have one, come down. It's really easy to round your shoulders forward, so try to keep the collarbones up and nice and wide. And some of these things, the goal tonight is to get to 10. Some is going to be to get to 5. Some of you just get one done successfully and just take it from there and see what happens. So. Alright. Now the reason why I do also like my push-up device is because, as I said, they are about 10 pounds each. So if I need to, like with a pistol squat, I can use these as a counterbalance. So hopefully one will be enough. So if I turn that way a little more. So See what happens. I'll take that. That's nice because for me, that is progress in the sense of I generally use a 10 kilogram kettlebell or 20 pound kettlebell. So the fact that this is 10 pound and I was able to get bottom out in my pistol squat is progress. So it's been a little more mobility that I can enunciate in my lower back. But, you know, it's taking some time, some practice. Excuse me. Next thing we're going to be doing are L-sits, which not the best at. That's okay. But with this, I'm holding myself up in an L-sit position, I'm doing beats with my heels, so you get more of the inner thigh work, a low abdominal work, and yeah, it's gonna be really hard. So we'll see what happens. Turn this sideways so you're not staring at me doing it sideways. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Whew. Yeesh. And that, as I always forget, also gets right on top of the quads. So, whew. Now, let's see. Well, I can touch the ceiling, so I probably won't be working on my handstands on the push-up device that I made, but that will be coming up in a second. The other thing I use these with are, I don't know if you can really see it over here, it's called the Wonder Chair, hanging out in this corner here. But I'll have these on the ground and I'll use the springs on the Wonder Chair to help with my press handstand. So, that's coming along. But right now, in just a second, as soon as I get done huffing and puffing, I'm going to do a handstand for time. Now, these certainly aren't necessarily my strong suit anymore, but let's see what happens here. Now I consider walking on my hands not cheating, so we're going to try to hold it in one position as long as I can. Let's see what happens there. Set up a timer. I won't learn. I refuse to learn that I need glasses, I guess. And set a timer for 50 seconds, which is probably very, very ambitious because I'm actually going to wait 5 seconds. So my goal is to hit 45 seconds in the handstand. We will see. It could be 3. We'll find out here. But if it's 3, it's 3. And we'll just take it from there. And if you hear me panting, it's okay. I'll survive. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Not a great start. left. Well, that was not as stable as I wanted it to be, but, or stable at all, I should say. Who the fuck just hit my door? Let's find out. Thank you. Again, all no glasses thing. Alright. It's not for me. Fine. I don't want it anyway. Mine will come soon. Alright, well, we'll have to come back to those handstands a little bit. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get those. We're just going to run back through some of this again. Take it from there. Now the nice thing about these being so solid and heavy is that if I wanted to, I can just do push-ups this direction as well, not going down quite so low. And I won't need to worry about falling over. But tonight, we're going to go deep. Take that however you want. But the other reason why I made these the way I did is that my push-up device, the bar is just as long as the bar on a classic reformer. So I can do Pilates exercises with mine and one of those glide pads as well, to an extent, right? On the one hand, when you have a reformer, you don't need to do this at home. Unless you want to crank up that challenge just a little bit. Alright, 10 push-ups. 10. Really ready for that air conditioner to kick back on. Any second now. Sorry, that was ridiculously loud. Did not mean for that to happen like that. One of the things while I was doing that handstand and wobbling all over the place is that there are parts of this floor that are a little uneven. I'm like, oh no, it's not me, it's the floor. It's me. So it is what it is in that aspect, but you know, it's just makes you stronger, right? Makes it a little bit better, handles adversity a little bit better, right? Yeah? That's what I tell myself anyway. Now, Friday, I will be back at the studio, and I'll have company with me. At least one person I know of. Another person's a maybe. So we're going to be doing reformer workout there. So I didn't want to just do like Pilates tonight and do the exact same thing that I was going to be doing on Friday, because it's going to be a little different. Hopefully, I'll have a new camera setup, completely different, ready to go. Which I think, you know, still have to play around a little bit, but I think it should be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And yeah. Alright, let's do these dips. So again, right here, feels really narrow. butt just got bigger on the other. All right. Eight, 9, 10. Whew. So the other thing, I talked about this about a month ago, but one of the biggest changes that's actually happened in my life is that I got diagnosed with having ADHD. And it's something that I should have been diagnosed with decades ago. But that didn't happen, right? So there's not too much, can't go back and draw on that too often. The difference though is that now that I have medication and I'm using Adderall, it's been a fucking game changer as far as understanding how the rest of the world actually works and are able to like concentrate on things and not get distracted by this little thing over here and this conversation over here and that conversation over there. So, bonus is, I've actually gotten to read, I've read 3 books so far this month, which I've read a few books in the past few years that were only educational workout books. They were things that I was extremely interested in. So I could read it. It wasn't quite as, I don't think I retained as much of the knowledge as I could have, or I wanted to, especially in the first read through. But the fact that I got through 3 actual like sci-fi fantasy books, which I really enjoyed when I was younger, became a big deal. So, you know, big thing to celebrate in my opinion. So it's been pretty nice going. Now, if I could just work on the whole enunciation of words thing, life might be a little bit better. We'll get there. Slowly but surely, we'll get there. All right. Pistol squat. Again, it's 10 pounds. So if you need a counterweight for your pistol squat, grab it. Here we go. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself with that progress, but let's, in case I fall backwards, let's see what happens here. Nope. That's all right. Still got a ways to go there, but that's fine. That's part of the process. Man, it's close though. Just have to get caught just a little bit. Start injecting some lead into my feet. Help keep that weight out there. Whew. So yeah, so it's been nice to read again. It's been nice to be able to have the ability to read again and just actually, you know, get through more than a paragraph without your mind wandering off into something that you were trying to take care of 3 months ago, but you weren't able to actually get there. So you went over there and sat down and started doom scrolling on Instagram when you meant to start your laundry. I thought that was fucking normal, but apparently it isn't. So, here we are. But it is weird. But anyway, all right, back to these L-sit beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 20. Whew. Whew. Burns. On fire. Oh, man. Come on, I see. And turn on any second now. Anytime you want. Because these handstands are going to get really hot in here. Whew. The last thing I want to do is put my hand on one of these. But hopefully I'll get this a little bit more under control. As I said a few weeks ago, I probably bring up every time I've been on here. Let me see. Okay. Good. Good. I was starting to get a little worried. There's no volume. And the interesting part is, I hate when that shit happens. Alright. Well, we're going to add something here to the live scene. It should have been here, and I don't know why it disappeared. So stick with me for 2 seconds. And let's see if we can't find where my audio fucking input went. There we go. Hopefully you can hear that better now. Why that wasn't coming through or working out was really frustrating. Didn't realize that it disappeared. So now you can hear me. And now you'll definitely be able to tell that I'm not able to enunciate my words. Because I'm a mumbler. Alright. Here we go. Last handstand. We're going to do some different stuff. Oh. Timer. If you're watching, does the mic make a difference now? Let me know. Alright. Let's see if we can do 45 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Yes! Fucking finally. Oh no, I don't want to go off again. Whew! Alright. Well, that's been a long time in the making, so I'm glad it finally happens. All right, now play around with this a little bit more. So I've already done push-ups, right? Here's why I'm trying this sideways. Again, this is where I'm going to do even more of Pilates exercises that we either do on the reformer or the wonder chair. Now you just do them at home with either push-up device of your own, or if you really want to live dangerously, which I think we all want to live dangerously, you can do this with kitchen chairs. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure is that anything that I do on this channel is accessible to people at home. So everything I do here, I also do with chairs. Now, maybe a little different. It might, the work might be a little different. I'll talk about that as I do it. And just because these are higher up off the ground, right? The other big difference is if I'm on the reformer, if I'm on the wonder chair, I get spring resistance or assistance. And if you've never done Pilates, you see there's springs everywhere. It's called, for a piece of equipment, it's called a Cadillac. And no matter what, those springs are there to resist you or assist you. So your job, either way, is to control those springs. Here, there are no springs, obviously. So what that might mean more of is smaller movements so that you can control them better. So there's an exercise that we do. As I said, I'll just take one of these because there's a reason why I made it as wide as the foot bar on the reformer. So here, in the reformer, we would do an exercise called long stretch, which is basically a moving plank. Now, as you can hear, it's harder to talk as I do this, and I'm not going up nearly as far as I would if I were on a reformer. 4, and 5. Whew. Right here, right, straight in the core. Now, with the chair, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm using 2 chairs because these bad boys were made at IKEA. And we just want to make sure that they're going to support me as much as they can, right? So same exercise. A little different because the palm is flat. If you can tell, this bad boy won't tip over. No, that's fine. 2 different heights. Number 3. And as you might be able to see, 4. Whoa, thanks. Number 5. I think I went back a little further there, simply because the trajectory of being higher is a little bit easier, right? So being a little lower, it's going to be harder. But for the most part, same exercise, really hard to do, make you really strong. The next one takes a little bit more coordination. So if you've tuned in, well, we've done this before. One of the things that we do in Pilates is a pike up, or I'm sorry, it's called a teaser. One of the things that you see me do here is a pike up. So, if you don't know what a pike up is, I'll show you without busting my head. You're here, and down. The teaser is here, up, and roll down with a little more control. So this exercise is a lot like, to me, like the pike up and the teaser. We're going to start almost like in an inverted pike position. So as I'm here, I'm going to press my feet back here, bring my shoulders over the wrists to reset, and then articulate back one vertebra at a time in my hips. 2, 3, number 4, number 5. Now with the chairs, again, because they're higher, it's going to be a little different. But you can still get, it's not quite as piked at the hip as it is at the lower, as it is with my back. But here, come up and over. Don't let the chair tip over on you. Move more forward, and again, back. 3, number 4, and 5. And no matter what you're doing, it's fucking hard. So, now generally we don't take breaks like this when we do Pilates, but I generally use springs when I do this. So I think I'm entitled to a break or two here and there, but that's alright. Now the next one we do, and we can do fairly easily, I always kind of did, right? We do an exercise called long back stretch. So as I use the 2 parallettes earlier, separate so I could actually dip down in between them, slide out, slide back, and up. On the reformer, it looks somewhat similar, a little different over here. So this is going to be a little bit more of a stretch for the shoulder, especially as I come down here, out, up, and then I pull back from here. So we do 3 in this direction, up, and back. Number 3. Then I reverse that, right? Generally, I don't sit down the bar here. So we go out, down, and back up. And the big difference this and with the parallettes, so I could drop down in between them, a lot less work on my bicep like that, but a little bit more work in the lat and opening the chest up. So again, you do the exact same thing in the chair. I don't think I need to demonstrate that one again. But what I do like about doing that on the chair, I mean, you do have to be careful of, alright, I will demonstrate that again, is just be mindful of your wrists, because your palm is going to be really flat. So you're here, and it is harder to do, especially on these chairs, without it tipping over. So if you're not comfortable doing that in the chairs that you're using, move on, do something different. Alright, now the next one is a real pain in the ass. Well, should I say a pain in the abs? I actually prefer to do this on the ground with both push-up device because it's a little easier. Yeah, I said it, it's fine, okay. And not only that, I get more range of motion out of this, right? So, I'll show you. So the tendon stretch, it almost kind of looks like we're piking up and reverse, right? So maybe here, 2, 3. Let's see if I can get in even further. So 2 more. then set up your palettes, push-up device, what the fuck you want to call these things, I don't really care. We're going to do the same thing, but a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 5. And I just like having a wider base, to be honest with you. So that's why I was using 2 there. It's a little preferable for me, personally, that's just my own opinion. I'll get you every time though. So there's a few right there that we can do. That, this will give you a little assistance, a little bit of a boost as far as using this glide pad. Now ultimately, a goal of mine, when I say goal of mine, like this is my goal list, and this is the top here. It's probably like around here. So it's not like something I've really been working on, but so it's not a goal, or what would you call it, like a hope, right? Or someday I'll get to, But just had a massive thing of sweat drop right in my eye. Ow. Fuck. Oh. Do this more from here without my feet on the ground. Oh. Alright, I got 3, but whew. Around the quads, feel like everywhere. But my abs, my quads. I'm glad I did it, surprised myself. I'm pretty happy with that actually. But no, when I say that itself is Pilates, that probably isn't, right? That's more gymnastics. That's okay, right? These workouts are whatever I want to make them, so it's fine with me. But, okay. As soon as I catch my breath, we'll move on to the next one. And then, I'm going to be done, because this next one is fucking fun. It's going to take all of it out. So, this is going to be very little movement on my part. But one of the more advanced exercises that we do on the reformer and even on the wonder chair is the star. And some people call it control balance 3. So this might go away and we don't do anything with it because it's going to be a bit of a side plank. And I honestly don't know if I can get in and out just using one arm. I'm going to start here in this position, and right now my feet are going to stay together. So I'm going to go out and back. 2. Now start, so I open up. Oh, Jesus! So at this point I'm just keeping my feet together. That's fine. Whew. What's not fine is now I have to do the other side. If you don't have anything to slide on, you only have chairs, you can do it just without moving. It's still going to be hard as hell. Alright, let's get these out of the way. Bring this over here so I'm just staring at my butt when I do this exercise. Fuck, that was hard. So if you can imagine, even with some assistance from those springs, one of the things we don't want to do in the studio is what we refer to as crashing the carriage. So we don't want this thing to go bam. If you've ever been in any Pilates class, any classical Pilates class, you'll know if you crash the carriage, you're going to get some looks. So You might get the assistance from those springs to come back in, but you have to control that assistance. So I'm not going to say it's just as hard over there, but it's not that much easier, I will say that. So, alright, let's see what happens here. Stay together. 1, 2, very small. See if I lift the leg. 3, yeah. Oh well. That is definitely a skill set to work up to. But the nice thing is, throughout this entire thing, it's been what, 40 minutes, I think? And 50, about 45 minutes. And, you know, I'm pretty spent. So, you don't necessarily need a full hour sometimes to get a full workout in. I'm certainly going to be sore and feeling this tomorrow, possibly the day after. But, oh, I remember what I was going to say. This Friday, as I said, I will be in the studio. I know I'll be joined by one person, I might be joined by 2. And if I'm definitely joined by the one person I'm thinking of, the session will be a beginner reformer workout with modifications. So if you're interested in that, check it out. It should be fun. My assistant will be with me helping out, and she'll be getting her butt kicked. So with that, I'm going to go and finish laundry, because that's why we're doing the stream at home tonight, because shit has to get done, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves. Take care.